Hello friends, how are you doing? Day 166 of my challenge. It is a beautiful, gorgeous, sunny day in Vancouver. Oh, I'm so grateful to be living here. Anyways, it is Sunday and we are coming back to Storytime Sunday, my friends. Woo woo. So, for me, I share a lot of my stories, but really what I want you to be able to do is actually share another friend's story today. So coming on back, I'm just waiting for him to come on here. Oh, here he is. Oops. Let's get him on. Adding, connecting. Oh, Matthew, how are you doing, my
Hey,
friend?
Edison, great to see you.
Likewise. Okay, just starting the live here. So let me quickly introduce everyone to you, or you to everyone, really. And so, can you say something?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, it's a little sounds a little choppy.
Hmm.
Is it, maybe there's an echo somewhere.
Is that better? No,
Try again.
that's not better.
No,
Okay,
I'm thinking it might be the microphone somehow.
I'll try to go on my computer.
Yeah. Well, it should work. If you have anything around the microphone, just take it off. Cause
There's nothing around it.
oh, it's just a phone. Okay, that's odd. Um, try saying again.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. There's some background noise though. So I don't know what that is.
Let's try. Hang on.
That's even louder even. Oh,
Can you hear me now?
oh, check. Yes, much
Is
better.
that better? Okay, good.
Okay, yeah, very clear. Okay, let's do that then. Awesome. All right, cool. So, all right, friends, back to your original program. Anyways, so this is my friend Matthew, and Matthew and I actually we met probably a good decade ago at a personal growth conference. Uh, it was part of the Millionaire Mind Intensive. This is way back
Way
when,
back.
and I just remember meeting this young fellow. This sharp young fellow had a really big spirit about himself, and I was like, I like this guy. And we decided to stay in touch, which I'm very grateful for. He's a great young gentleman doing a lot of great things, and so today I want to kind of bring him on board to kind of share a little bit about what he's working on, and also a couple of lessons that he's learned along the way. And so, before you get started, Matthew, one of the things that I was catching up with Matthew just like a week ago, and I've seen him doing some posts on just uh, a program that he's working on where it's empowering youth. And I was like, wow, that is a really great work to have. And when I caught up with him to kind of ask him about it, um, he just shared some really powerful things. So I wanted to bring him on board and kind of share a little bit about what he's doing, and also how you got to where it is today and why you even started in the first place.
Yeah.
So Matthew, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Edison. Appreciate the story time Sunday with you. Yeah, so it's actually a 4 years. It's a 4 year journey combined with a 17-year journey. So this really all started at age 17. You talked about how me and you first met at a personal growth seminar. Well, I was dragged to my first personal growth seminar from my parents at age 17.
Mm.
At the time I was a hardcore gamer. I only loved to play video games because I thought that's the only way I can play in life and win. So I was super shy, introverted, had a stuttering impediment, and I had no confidence growing up. So I just played video games, and I thought that would be a lot of fun. And then my parents brought me to this first personal growth seminar, and I didn't want to be part of it. I just wanted it to end. But something very magical happened. They took the teenagers and they put us up in groups with a facilitator to lead an exercise. And one by one, each one of the teenagers were sharing about their challenges, their insecurities, and their life goals. And when I was listening to them speak, I was like, wow, you know what? I'm they're just like me. And they asked me to share about my goals And I, first time I ever felt accepted. And that day, I decided, you know what, I'm going to find out what it takes to become a leader, and then I'm going to help other 17-year-olds that are struggling like I'm struggling. And that's where the dream was kind of first built.
Wow, that is awesome. And yeah, I know I gotta agree with you. Acceptance is so important to help empower somebody. So yeah, so that was when the seed was planted. So then what happened?
Yeah, so the seed was planted, but I didn't know what to do. So um, one thing that was very fortunate is, these seminars, they allowed you to come back. And so I kept coming back, and I kept meeting more like-minded people because in the beginning, my environment wasn't into personal growth. Anything about reading your goals would sound like very, airy fairy kind of thing. But being around this environment, I was the only young person, and most of the people were older. And so through that, I fell into entrepreneurship. I've been in entrepreneurship with World Financial Group for way over a decade now. And I learned about personal growth and goal setting and helping people and being a professional. And then through there, I started participating in philanthropy events. So one of the mentors in our company, his name's Norm Meldrum, and he raised money for Children's Wish. And Children's Wish is a great organization where they grant terminally ill kids their kind of their last wish. And sometimes when the kid gets their wish fulfilled, sometimes they turn around and they're able to get even better. But I think the number is about when granting one wish, which was about $10,000, grants impacts about 1,000 lives. It impacts the siblings, the parents, the hospitals, the everyone around them. And so that's why it's such a great thing. And I started to participate with that, and that's kind of where the seed of philanthropy started getting ingrained with me. And then I was just focusing on just doing my business. And then God, I say, gifted me a car accident 4 years ago where I was driving my car and I lost control. So even though I'm half Asian, I promise you I wasn't speeding. um, but I lost control of the car and I was going down this hill. And for some reason, the car started going and swerving into oncoming traffic. And I kind of blacked out. I don't know what happened, but when you think your life is over and your life is flashing before your eyes, I was gifted by two biggest regrets. So my first regret was not being bold enough. I saw flashes of my life as if they were just waiting for me there, just flash, flash, flash. Of all the times in my life, I was not bold. I took chances and I never followed through. And my other greatest regret was I wish I started that youth program that I told myself and I promised myself at age 17 that I would start. And
Wow.
fortunately, God was kind. He saved me from the car accident. My car was totaled, but I was able to walk away. And now I had this new outlook on life. So I said, okay, everyone I talk to, I'm gonna tell them I'm gonna build a youth program. I have no idea how to do it, and I'm gonna just start being bold. And I think within under a month, I found I was speaking at a library, and I was speaking about money and entrepreneurship. And there's this guy in the crowd. He's super super dressed sharp, even sharper than me. He had like a bow tie, very tall, fit guy,
Wow.
and his name's Lev Karrasin. On Facebook goes by Airy, and he said, "Hey, let's get together for coffee." So at the time we met at the Lohid Ball. There was a Starbucks
Yeah.
outside, and I just told him my dream, and he said, "You know what? I have the same dream. I want to help youth." And he came from a war country, and he really wanted to give youth opportunities that now he has had because of that change and how it changed his life. And so we kind of rallied together for the last 4 years to get that youth program going. But then there's a lot of false starts. I'm sure you can agree with me, Edison. Being an entrepreneur, being in business for yourself, it's filled with false starts. When you're trying to build a team and a dream, right? Not everyone can see your vision, and that's the hardest thing. People, they start with hope, they start with something they're passionate about, but they lose the hope and then they quit, right? So
Yep.
yeah, I can speak
All
more
the time.
to that to that story, but
Well, you know what? Oh man, I'm number one. I'm grateful you're still here, and you're definitely there's a reason why you're still here. And so yeah, so this youth program. Can you share more about that?
Yeah. So when we were first creating this idea of the youth program, we wanted to create a youth program where youth would go through the program, and then after they go through it, they would now help other youth through it and become this kind of pay it forward kind of system. And then we can pay these youth to become leaders. So it was just a great idea, but we didn't really know how to do it. So we just focused on the curriculum development, and we tried. So we took time to like, okay, what are the best tools and resources? There's this book out there called Success for Teens, and it's based on the Slight
Yeah.
Edge principle. And we took that and we kind of built our foundation on that. And one thing that we found that all or majority of youth programs that are missing is that most times they're just talking at youth. And what made our program really change was the activities. We found out that when we first did it with a pilot project of about 12-year-olds, we found that even though we prepared, by the time we taught the first session, we had to like adapt and fly. And so every session for 9 weeks, every session we started to learn and develop, and we were really building the program as we fly it. And I find that's like entrepreneurship in general. Like you're never going to
Yeah.
figure it out. You're figuring it out. And most people, they never start. And because they never start, the next piece of the puzzle doesn't ever show up to them. And so we put all this time together to, to get this all going. And then, so we did it with our first pilot project with the 12-year-olds, and that was great. And then we had another
Yeah.
opportunity to do it with an ESL group. And I think they had about 12 people there too, different ages, a little older. And first class, we're all kind of set. But by the sixth class, me and Lev, we show up, the room is empty. The room is completely empty. The teacher's not there. The participants are not there. And this is probably the third time we tried to bring this youth program into fruition just to be kicked down again. And I remember
Yeah.
I'm sitting down in the room looking at the board. Lev is near at the door. I have a picture of it. And we're just thinking about like, okay, it was that moment of truth. Like, do we just say, hey, we tried and we just give up? But then another thought came in our mind, and that thought changed everything. It says, no, we're gonna do this as if the youth are here, because one day they will be. One day God will give us the people, the tools, the resources to make this happen. And so for the next, from session 6 to 9, we met every time and we did the whole thing. So we did the activities, we did everything, and we were able to repivot. So when we did get an opportunity to go into first school, we were ready. We were ready. We had an opportunity to go into school at South Delta Secondary School with
Yeah.
grades 10 to 12 and roughly about 30 students. And we had a chance to really test drive our program with a school with a teacher named Richard Hortness. He was actually a Canadian Olympian for swimming, and then he became a teacher who's leading a leadership course. And so we were able to go into his class and really lead this program in person. And after we led the class, we had roughly about 12, I think, that graduated. So in our youth program, every session builds on the session, and then they submit it. And then if they do all the homework, they get to graduate. And if they graduate, we give them the opportunity to come back where they can become a youth facilitator. So out of the whole class, we had 3. So we had
Wow.
uh, Emily, Nevada, and Georgia. So these are the 3 that really were excited, and they felt it impacted their life. And so as soon as we got one school, 3 other schools opened up. So from having no schools, now 3 schools. But then
Now, let me ask you this. Now, how old were those three?
their
Youth?
grade, so one was grade 12 and the other ones are grade 10 or 11. So I'm not sure their exact ages. So Nevada, Georgia, and Emily, if you guys are listening to this, I just see you as leaders. That's it. So
Okay, awesome.
um, yeah, so but then of course, as we all know, COVID happened and all the schools shut down. And so we're like, man, we were so close, right? So we're just kind of waiting the time. But then we saw everyone was pivoting online with Zoom. So we thought, well, what if we did this online? And so we started training Nevada, Georgia, and Emily to, to lead these to the programs. And we created a Google registration, And it was funny, the
Yeah.
first time we led our online program, not many from Canada joined, a lot from the US. And we had one girl from Kenya that joined. So imagine, sitting in my room, I'm looking at the screen and all these boxes, like we had about 20 to 30, I think, youth looking at all these squares. I'm like, wow, this is so cool. Youth from all over North America and one from Kenya going through this experience about leadership. And it just opened the door for us. Through that, we attracted uh, Ness Gale. She is a program manager with Big Sisters, and she was looking for more hours. And so she spent the time with the help of Vanessa Wadesky, our director of our charity, Low Entropy, to really find out how we can really scale the program. And we went from 4 volunteers to now 81 volunteers within now, beginning of last year to today. So, yeah,
Wow.
it's
That is amazing growth, my friend.
yeah, it's one of the biggest things that surprised me was how many people wanted to give 3 to 5 hours a week of volunteering because of the community, because of the impact they wanted to make. And if you were to tell me back when me and Lev are at Starbucks and whisper in my ear and say, "Hey guys, it's okay. We know you don't know it, but there's gonna be 81 volunteers within the next couple of years. That's gonna really help you take this program to the next level." But we didn't see it, right? We were being in that classroom. We were like, man, like what if we just it right now? I shudder to think, what if we just said, hey, we tried our best. What if we lost hope? But one thing about this youth program, it's something I never had to push. I was always pulled to it. So the more I focused on my financial business and my fitness and all these different things, I kept getting pulled towards this philanthropy. To when I actually really went through with it, it just felt like home. I'm like, this is where I was meant to be. And what I learned working with the youth and scaling a program, I've been able to transfer in everything. And it's funny how giving actually let me receive even more than I ever had realized I could. So it's been an amazing
Well,
journey. It's something I wake up every day. So even today, after church, we were eating waffles, and I was looking at all the different life folders. So when the youth go through our program, they submit a life folder where they write down their philosophy of life, they write down their habits, they go through the 9 week and they submit it. And I was reading some of these life folders. I'm like, man, this is so amazing. Because in 2020, me and Lev and a few other adult facilitators led the programs. But now we're in 2021. All the programs are led by other teenagers empowering other teenagers with just one adult in the background, coaching, supporting. And it's just really cool to see. And so, yeah.
that's wonderful. So let me ask you this. So what was your vision when you first started? And then now that you've come this far, what is your vision for the future?
Yeah. So when we first articulated the vision, it was by September 2021, which is now here, but this is 4 years ago. We wanted to be
Yeah.
a mandatory course in all grade 10s to 12s because we didn't want them to graduate with having the same outlook on life that I had before. Like I want them to be dragged into personal growth. So we wanted to give them a youth program where they don't really teach them what to think, but they teach them how to think for themselves. Because only 20% of our program is about the curriculum. 80% is the discoveries, it's the sharings. And so that's what our vision was. We wanted to become a program for all of Canada, and then eventually we would scale it to the world. Well, it happened the other way around. So as we started building our program here, we had some people in Liberia say, "Hey, we'd like to learn more about your program. We'd like to run it here." But we're like, no running water, dirt floor, chalkboards, and we had a vision. Well, what if we can have it where we can deliver it online to the people who have online access, and then they could bring it to offline communities. And so now the vision has completely exploded to our goal is to hit 1 million youth to empower them in 100 countries and 7 continents. So that's our vision now. And as our vision grows, we start attracting all of these different people, people that want to help tell the story, whether in a movie, or right now we're dealing with a great organization called Future V, where they help them with public speaking and opportunities. And right now we're in a project to do a TEDx youth opportunity that's going to be launching in June. And I'm one of the judges, and I'm really fortunate about that opportunity because my coach, Renee, she helped me for my coaching when I tried to do a humanitarian video roughly about a year ago, where it took about 8 months to do a 11-minute video. But
Wow.
yeah, and these youth that are now going through it, they have to do what I did in 8 months in under a month. So, and it's amazing to see. Like, the youth have so much potential, and when you give them that place to practice leadership, they just blow your mind.
Yes, definitely. Dude, that sounds so wonderful. And really, our youth are our future, right? So I'm so grateful that, and so glad to hear that you're doing this great work. Now, if somebody wants to learn more about the Youth Empowering Youth Program, where could they find more information?
Yeah, so we have a website. So Youth Empowering Youth is under the amazing umbrella of low entropy. And so if you go to lowentropy.org, I can even put in the link. Or we also have a link tree where you go, and all of our programs are free. Now, the reason why we're able to do it for free, where people always ask us, well, Matthew, how can you do this youth leadership program for free? Like, you're paying these youth to be leaders. It's because one of our amazing volunteers, we have adult coaches, volunteers, admins that make the difference. They're investing time out of their life to make that difference. We have donors, we have sponsors, we had grants from United Way, and we have support from the Rotary and a lot of different other places. And none of that would be possible. So that's why we're able to grow and expand, because everybody plays a part. And it's one of the biggest things I realized is, like, you can only go so fast alone, but you can go so far together. So that's one of my favorite African proverbs. I just reworded it
Yes,
in my own words, but it is.
But that is so true. Yeah, that's so true. Awesome. Well, I want to wrap this up pretty soon here, but is there a last parting thought or message that you want to leave before we head out here?
The way the world is right now, if there's just one lasting message I can give, is just to give people hope. If two guys that have no kids could develop a youth program, and that are now completely led by other youth, and to, even for myself that struggled with no confidence, stuttering, if I can do it, other people can do it. And what I mean by that is, everybody has a goal, everyone has a dream, and when you share your dream with others that actually have that growth mindset and they support you, it just makes all the difference. For example, my why is to empower other people to feel their dreams are alive. Now, the reason why that's my why is because I know what it feels like to give up on your dream. I know what it feels like when someone says, hey, that's not possible, right? I also know what it's like when when you're in the right environment and people say, hey, Matthew, I know you don't believe in yourself, but I believe in you. And I believe in you has got me through so many things. And now to do it for others, and I know you do it all the time, and a lot of you who are watching it do the same, right? And don't stop. Give people hope. But hope can't stay with hope. It needs to progress with action, because when you take action, it leads to eventually inspiration, where it's long lasting. It's not just a warm bath, right? We don't want to be a warm bath for people. We want to inspire people so they're fired up in life, because life really can be amazing.
That is awesome. That is beautiful. You fired me up, and
you always fire me up.
Definitely, I love the hope. I love the hope message, my friend. Dude, thank you so much for coming on and just sharing your story. And I know it'll definitely inspire others to do more with their life, and hopefully support other causes, right? Because I know sometimes people aren't at a point in their life where they're ready to really take on a huge amount of responsibility or just change, right? But people like yourself, you're doing some great things, and I just hope that if you're somebody who's not yet ready or willing, that you reach out somehow to support. So once again, thank you so much, Matthew. I appreciate you, brother, and I will chat to you soon.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Okay, awesome. All right. See you, everyone.
Take care.